Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Okay, so you're locked in and ready for some V86 action today, right? Jägersro and Solvalla. That's where we're headed. All right, let's kick things off. V86-1 at Jägersro. Ideal Stone Track 5. This one seems to be getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, Ideal Stone is definitely one that the experts are pretty high on, and the numbers kind of back it up.
And what makes this horse such a strong contender in this opening leg?
Well, a few things. First of all, very consistent winning record. Can't argue with that kind of reliability.
No, absolutely not.
And also the recent move to Johann Untersteiner's stable. Sometimes a change of scenery and training can really do wonders for a horse.
Right, unlock that potential.
Exactly. And what's particularly interesting here is the gap between its earnings and its apparent talent. It's performed really well, but the prize money doesn't quite reflect that.
Oh.
Suggests there might be a lot more in the tank than we've seen so far. And transfers to Untersteiner often see a quick improvement, especially with a horse that has, this kind of latent promise.
So a bit of an overachiever, maybe punching above its weight class.
Potentially, yeah. Definitely one to watch.
Okay, so who are we looking at as the main challengers here? The ones trying to dethrone Ideal Stone.
Well, Credless Lou, starting from track 7, is definitely one to keep an eye on.
Okay.
There were some very positive comments about its recent strong finish, shows it's in good form right now.
Right.
But what's really key here is the equipment changes, going barefoot and using an American cart.
Ah, okay.
Now, that's a lighter, sulky, designed for speed.
Yeah.
So that combined with the strong run last time out suggests that the stable is, they're going for it.
Yeah, they're sending a message.
They think this horse is ready to step up.
So barefoot and a speed cart, yeah, that's a statement for sure.
Yeah, I am Don Max out in track 10. Now, this one has high potential, no doubt.
Okay.
The key word there is inconsistent.
Ah, I see.
When this horse is on, it can be brilliant, but that's not always a given. Also, O.M. Joffrey in track 6 has been in good form lately, so not one to completely dismiss.
Okay, so we've got consistent Ideal Stone, potentially faster, Credley Slew with the gear changes, and then the wild card, I am Don Max, high risk, high reward. Let's move on to V86-2.
All right, so for V86-2, the smart money seems to be on Mr. Spain track 2.
Okay.
Put in some very strong performances as a 3-year-old last year, showed a lot of talent. And drawing that second track for its seasonal debut, that's a nice starting position.
Right out of the gate in a good spot.
Yeah, fresh, but, we'll have to see how race sharp it is.
Okay, so a good draw for a horse coming back from a break. Makes sense. Who are the main threats to Mr. Spain in this one?
Well, Young in track 4 is a very interesting challenger. The plan is to remove the shoes for the first time in its career.
Oh, wow.
Big equipment change, and as we saw in the first race, those sorts of things can really make a difference. Suggests the stable thinks there's some untapped speed there.
Yeah, taking the brakes off, so to speak.
Exactly.
All right, so who else is in the mix here?
Malheur Chocolat from track 7, also considered a strong contender, coming off a really impressive win recently, and it's known for its stamina, which could be key if the early pace is fast.
Stamina, always a good thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, and we shouldn't forget about Queen Simone again this time in track 1. Experts say it's showing improving form, so, could be a factor again after that first race.
2 for 2, huh? All right, so Mr. Spain with the nice starting spot, Young going barefoot for the first time, Monsieur Chocolat with the stamina, and then Queen Simone maybe making another run. All right, let's switch gears ourselves and head over to V86-3.
Okay, so bigger field and Amazing Hazel in track 14 is the favorite.
Okay.
Now, one thing to note is that it's listed as racing with shoes, but the experts are saying, don't let that fool you. It's actually won most of its races with that shoeing.
Really?
Yeah. So consistent good form over a long period, and it's got a skilled driver in Max Carlsen, so that's a plus as well.
Okay, so a horse that can win with shoes from an outside post in a big field. That's good to know. So who are the main challengers?
Well, Bowler Day, starting from track 9, showed good form in a recent race at a higher level, which is always a positive sign.
Right, stepping up to the challenge?
Exactly. Hasn't raced in a little while, but if it can, navigate that starting position well and the race sets up nicely, it's definitely got the ability to contend.
So experience against tougher competition, that's valuable. Any other challengers in this one?
Yeah, that's so Spicy in track 13, another one to take seriously. This horse has a knack for winning. It finds a way to the winner's circle pretty often.
Not real competitor.
Yeah, and then there's I Gotta Go in track 8. It's got speed for sure, but can be a bit unreliable. So, bit of a gamble there.
Okay, so speed, but with a question mark. We've seen that profile before.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stick with Solvalla for V86-4.
All right, V86-4, keep gamble in track 5. This one is considered to have exceptionally high potential.
Wow.
And it's got a recent race under his belt, which, keeps it sharp.
Right, race fit.
Yeah, even though it's stepping up in class, the feeling is that its talent should shine through.
Okay, so natural ability plus recent racing experience. That's a potent combo. Who are the challengers looking to test? Keep gamble in this one.
Well, Dexter Ors, starting from track 2, it's had 2 good performances since coming to Sweden, and it's racing barefoot.
Barefoot. Interesting.
Yeah, as we've seen, that can often be a positive sign, leads to a bit more speed. Great Time Trot in track 3 also has that recent race experience, and it's generally competitive at this level. And then HC is Crazy Horse in track 6, brings some recent form from racing in France over the winter.
Oh, interesting. French form always adds a bit of a wild card factor.
Yeah, it can be tough to gauge, but it definitely mixes things up.
For V86-5.
Okay, V86-5 kind of magic FR in track 5. Now, this one has a ton of potential, but it can also be a bit inconsistent.
Okay. So a bit of a high wire act.
Yeah, if it performs to its full capabilities, and keeps its focus, it could definitely win this race. But there are definitely some question marks.
All right, so high risk, high reward. Who are the main contenders if kind of magic FR isn't quite on its game today?
Well, famous Scotch all the way out in track 12 is a serious challenger. It raced against the very best horses in its age group last year, performed well, but didn't quite get a win at that level. Against this competition, though, it measures up well, and it's also racing barefoot.
Okay, barefoot, yet again. Definitely a theme today.
Yeah, so that could give it an edge.
Who else is in that chasing pack for V86-5?
Fabulicious in track 4 is known for its early speed, so if it can get a good position early on, it could be a real factor. And FBI in track 2 has been in good form for a while now, so you can't count it out.
Okay, so a mix of early speed and consistent form among the challengers. Okay, let's move on to V86-6, still at Solvalla.
All right, V86-6, Eldorado Jet in track 10. This one is a strong favorite.
Okay.
Showed really impressive form last year, 3 wins in a row against some tough competition. It's making its seasonal debut in this race, but it comes from the stable of Alessandro Gocciadoro, which has a great reputation for having its horses ready to go right out of the gate.
Okay, so a top-notch stable and coming back fresh, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and it's racing barefoot right from the start.
Barefoot again. Wow, they really like that strategy today.
It seems so, yeah.
Okay, so a well-regarded stable barefoot on debut sounds like a winning formula.
Yeah.
Who are the main challengers to Eldorado Jet in this one?
Well, Explosive Axie in track 3 is an interesting newcomer to the training partnership of Magnus Adussi and Suzanne Frang. It's a bit hard to assess, first start on Swedish soil, but it has shown ability in the past. Make or Break, Zazozi, in track 2, has that recent race experience and a good starting position, which is always a plus. And Going Cash in track 7 has a lot of talent, but hadn't always been able to put it all together consistently.
Okay, so some new faces, some familiar ones for V86-7.
Okay, V86-7 Bellatelli face in track 8 is the favorite here.
Okay.
Had a really strong winning streak earlier on, but has had a couple of less impressive races recently. However, the experts think this particular race is a good fit, and it's expected to race barefoot all around, which could make a big difference.
Okay, so back to barefoot again. Really interesting to see that strategy being employed so often today. Who are the main challengers to Bellatelli face in this 7th race?
Well, Lorenzo Bocco in track 7 got a bit unlucky in its last race, ran into some interference, but seemed to have plenty left in the tank at the finish. So physically, it seems to be in good shape. Celerity Broline in track 4 very rarely runs a bad race, as long as it handles the starting position. Okay. And then Lucifer Sam in track 9 is coming back from a break, so it's kind of a mystery in terms of fitness.
Okay, so a few question marks surrounding some of these challengers. All right, final race today, V86-8.
Okay, V86-8, Bollinger NO in track 5. This is the horse that's attracting a lot of attention.
Okay.
It's making its debut for a new trainer after, previously showing some real potential, but also some inconsistency.
So another one with the new stable storyline.
Yeah, exactly. If it performs up to its capabilities, it should have a very good chance in this race.
Okay, so talent is there, just needs to put it all together. Who were the main challengers looking to end the day on a high note?
Well, Dear Wise, as in track 10, finished really strong in its last race. So if it can replicate that late speed, the favorite will need to be at its best. Perfect Zon in track 1 has good early speed, but can be a bit erratic. And Nowhere Fast in track 2 won its last start from the front, so it knows how to find the winner's circle.
Okay, so a mix of different running styles, recent form, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Any potential long shots in this final V86 race?
Yeah, Mercedes Hall in track 8 is one that's been mentioned as a potential long shot to keep an eye on. And Mego Launcher in track 9 also has some potential. Could surprise if the race sets up well.
Okay, a couple to keep in mind right at the very end. But hopefully this deep dive has given you a good starting point for enjoying today's V86 races.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep digging into the data, keep analyzing, and most importantly, enjoy the races.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Good luck out there.
Good luck.